All right, yeah, welcome back to the training, and we are going to continue with while loop. In the previous video, we learned about for loop. So if you have not watched the video, please go ahead and pause this one and go back to it so that you can get the context of what we are talking about. Okay, so here is just a simple syntax of while loop. We have the while keyword, and then we have our condition. Okay, so the while loop always executes or evaluates a condition, and based on that condition, it's going to execute the block of code that you embed or you indent inside it. Okay, so let's just take an example. Using while loop, let's print or count number from 1 to 9 or 1 to 10. So what I will have my while keyword like I explained earlier, and then what is the condition? I'll use an iterator like we do use also in for loop. So while I less than 10, then with my full colon, and then what block of code do I want to execute within this loop? I'll say print I, right? And then let's see what this is going to bring. Now I believe there will be an error because there are some other things that I should add here. Now the issue here is nothing is going to be printed because it's not the iterator is not being increased, is not being incremented. So that way it goes once and then stops like that. So what I would do is to say my iterator should be incremented. So I plus equals 1. That means add 1 to the iterator each time you go. All right, so let's see what is going to happen now. Another error supposed to come up, and that would be that I've actually not initialized high. So I'll say my high is equal to 0, and then let's see what happens. All right, so I have my results 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 to 9. But if I want to achieve 1 to 10, I can actually just say I less than or equals to 10. So it's going to count from 1 straight down to 10. All right, so we've done something like this with for loop before, and I think you can spot the differences now. So the key thing here, you have to initialize your iterator, and then you have to increment your iterator. All right, and your iterator can also be anything, it can be any variable name you want to use. All right, okay, so let's move on. There are situations where your loop can actually run infinitely. So that's a case where you have while true. That means there's really no condition. The only condition is true. And since this will always execute to true, you have whatever it is that you embed here or indent here is just going to keep executing repeatedly until there's an external force that actually terminates the loop. All right, so let's just see. Print looping forever. Okay, so we can see I'm not sure I'm ready for that to keep looping, so I'll just stop this. Okay, all right, so that's just the concept of infinite loop. All right, so we had this example when we worked on for loop, so I just copied it and I brought it here straight forward. So I want us to interpret this, okay, with what's it called now, with while loop, or interpret it and write the same code using while loop. All right, so what I'll do, like I said, you initialize your iterator. So my iterator here is num equals to 0. Okay, and then my sum is already initialized there. Okay, and then I'll say while sum, while num less than. Now this time I will say while num less than the length of the list. Okay, so obviously this length of the list will execute to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. yeah, I guess. And then sum can still be equals to sum plus number. Okay, if you don't understand what I'm doing here, please go ahead and watch the operator Python operator video as well, also in this playlist. Okay, so we have our print sum. So I want you to tell me what I'm missing out here, because I believe I'm missing something out. So I'm just going to comment this, the one for the for loop, and then run this. So do you notice the way it's going up? It goes to the condition, execute the condition, come back to the executable statement, try to execute that, go back to the condition and all. But then nothing is working because I'm actually not incrementing my counter or my iterator. So what I would do here is to say num plus equals to 1. Okay, and then I'm going to have, let me do that again. Yeah. All right, so I'm not sure the answer I got here is correct. So can we just look at what is making the answer to be wrong? Okay, so here I'm not supposed to be adding the iterator or the counter to sum. I'm actually supposed to be adding the, what's it called now? Each item here. So a bit different from what we did for loop. So what I will have here is with the name of the list and then indexing with the num. Okay, so it takes each index position and then add whatever that is there to sum. So let's see this now. All right, so that's correct answer right there. So I hope that is simple enough. You can try this with the examples we worked with during when we worked on for loop. You can also browse different examples, but basically this is the structure, this is the syntax. Have your iterator, initialize your iterator, specify your condition, very important. If you are not given any condition, the condition is true, and that will result into an infinite loop, right? And then you increment your iterator, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I think I should just add something like we had when worked with for loop. You can also include an else, and else here we just do the same thing. It shows that the end of your loop, like this is the end of the loop, and you just have an else statement that prints like a default statement to shows that the loop has terminated or the loop terminates. So you can actually try that in. Okay, all right, so thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and watch out for the next video. We are going to be learning about function in the next video. Bye.